Hello, everybody. No script today, just a bit of a messing about, just to kind of clear yesterday's show. So I will say, hello, everybody. Today is Monday, 30th of May, Memorial Day, if you're in the USA. So our respects to our USA viewers. We're just going to try and, as I said, just clear the backlog from yesterday. I'll say hello to the chats. We've got the guests out. They're out already. So I'll just say hello to the Mega Geek. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Are you well?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Raring to go as always.
Good man. And Mr. Popular himself in the YouTube
The
sphere.
Lord.
It's the Lord. Praise be the lad. Lord Chod.
Yes.
On your knees, serfs. How are you?
Not bad, mate. You. Well done for the Obi.
Yeah, it's going nicely. Anyone who hasn't checked it out, join the other 10,000 or so people who nicely tuned in. Only a few of whom are Disney shills as well, which has been nice.
Very impressive, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it was a great thing to wake up to.
How many subs did you say you've got from the video?
So when I went to bed, we hit 2,000 yesterday
Right.
before I put the video up. And then I woke up today and we are now on, I think we're on now 2,460. So in basically a day, it took us 5 months, I think, to get to 1,000. It took us 5 weeks to get to 2,000, and it's now taken us a day to get halfway to 3. So I can't complain about the trajectory.
Very good.
It's incredible. I will just say this again. Watch out, critical drinker. There's a new boy in town.
I don't think he's worried somehow.
I somehow know. Did you see he put his video up? He's got his own boat. Well, I have a boat, but I don't have a speedboat. He has a speedboat. I saw him driving around on that earlier today on Twitter.
Well, you'll be buying another boat, a bigger boat. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
I'll trade my houseboat for a super yacht at some point if YouTube takes off.
Yeah. So
He's doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just get on with it. Let's just see what is in the slides. So end of week musings, May 29th, obviously yesterday. Apologies, but wasn't feeling too brilliant. I think I've had the kind of COVID brain fog, I think. Anyway, moving on. Smallest possible fonts. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll just say hello, Melvin. Hello, Jonathan. Matt G with bacon. And Jake
Bacon.
Ironside. Right, okay. We'll just kind of clear the TV programs. So, anybody watch this? Because this was out this week.
I haven't.
I'm in the middle of it as we speak.
Any good?
Oh.
Yeah, so it is still one of the best things on TV, and the production values are fantastic. It actually, I mean, it's so much longer, this series as well. They're releasing it in 2 halves. Each episode is a minimum of an hour long.
What?
I know they've really gone all in for it, and it's kind of pleasing because it gives them a lot of time in which to do character and to focus on personality and to actually, not just, well, at least in theory, it doesn't have to jump from action sequence to action sequence. It's better than season 3 was because it's not playing it for laughs so much, but it is still short of where the high point it reached in seasons 1 and 2, because it's too jaunty. It is still somehow too quick despite being incredibly long. And whereas the original ones were content to sort of bring the 80s back to life, it's still doing this thing where basically it's taking an 80s thing, a really popular 80s pop culture phenomenon, and it's just inhabiting that instead in an almost parodic kind of way. So the main villain in this is basically Freddy Krueger. And that's slightly too derivative. It's still one of the best watches around on TV, but I think that might say a bit more about the rest of TV than it does about Stranger Things. But it's a great thing to binge, so I'm kind of enjoying it, despite its faults so far.
Is this the last series of it?
I believe they are planning. Well, obviously this is in 2 halves, so you've got this half out now. Second half of this season's out, I think, in June or July, and they've planned for 1 more season, I believe.
All right. So I think with Netflix at the moment, they need to get the premium programs on, don't they?
They do, and you know, this is the premium program. Really, Netflix and Breaking Bad, but Stranger Things and Breaking Bad were the two that really boosted Netflix into pop culture stardom, and you can see why. I mean, you know, people have grown up with these characters now. The characters themselves have grown up. It is still a character-rich program, and it does some of the '80s callbacks very well. It's not doing them as well as it used to, which is really the problem with it. But I would recommend it. It's a great thing to have on, even if you're not paying a huge amount of attention. The only other problem I'd find with it is that obviously seasons 1 to 3 had this constant through arc with the main villain in the Upside Down being the Mind Flayer, and this one has just invented a new villain which was not trailed in season 3, and it does sort of give it the impression of villain of the week kind of thing, except that it's a really long week because it's a long show. If they'd used season 3, which is by far the worst of all the seasons, to set all this stuff up, it would have been so much better. They didn't do that. They're correcting some of the mistakes, but they are sort of suffering from having wasted effectively a whole season. But again, I don't want to sound like it's all doom and gloom, because it's a very watchable show still, and it's I would recommend it.
Ian, have you seen the previous seasons?
Yeah. Season 3, that was the one in the mall, right?
Yeah, that's the one where it gets very CGI heavy.
That one was very woke as well. That one.
Yeah,
so,
I heard it gone woke.
Yeah, especially with the gay girl and leading that guy on. And I can't remember the guy's name. Gosh. But yeah, it's just a bit woke, that's all. And I think it was the weakest out of all of them, season 3, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Is it still set in the 80s?
It is. They are now in I guess I'm saying 87, because I'm a political nerd. I usually date them by what president signs they have outside their houses, but there hasn't been one yet, so I don't know. I think it's 87. I think they're in now.
So the little boy that was originally, trapped in the Upside Down, they've given him this horrendous haircut, haven't they? I saw a clip from it. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, why would anyone give a person? I don't believe I saw anyone with that kind of haircut in the 80s. I lived through the 80s. It's weird.
They kind of do that reasonably well, because like they have the stereotypical sort of jock culture, and then they have the sports kids, and obviously these are the misfits and the nerds and the geeks and the Dungeons and Dragons players. So, and they come from very different type family backgrounds, and that was always the strength of the first 2 seasons in particular, was really building out the families and the relationships and the reasons these characters are the way they are, and that's kind of why they look very dorky and unconventional. And it sort of works, but they do give. It's Will Byers is the kid who was trapped in the Upside Down first, and he gets consistently the worst haircuts of all of them.
He does. I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Andy Mouse says, "Hello, Andy. Is it any good?"
Yeah, if you've never ever seen any of Stranger Things, start with season 1. I actually didn't like it when I first watched it. It took me a long time to get into it. I went back to it after a while because everyone was raving about it, and I thought I'll give it another go. And actually, if you sit there and you realize what it's attempting to do, and you sort of I thought it was like a Steven Spielberg knockoff, and there are bits of it that are really heavily playing on that. But actually, if you get rid of that preconception and you see what it's doing is taking inspiration from that, but also from so many other, a vast number of real 80s mainstays in culture, but also 80s subcultures as well. It's not, especially seasons 1 and 2 are not just Stephen King knockoffs. They're not like Sense8 or whatever the other one was with all the kids. It's really deep character-wise. It's definitely worth starting with the beginning and just sort of sitting there. If you've got nothing else to do, binge it for a bit and see if you like it.
Melvin Deeply, it started off well and faded a bit, but still pretty good. Only seen 1 episode of this season.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time then, because there's loads of episodes left.
I did watch the first episode of season 1, but I've never watched it since.
I think a lot of people, that's the exact thing I had. Season 1, episode 1 didn't grab me, and then it was only when I sat through 1 and carried on because I had nothing else to do that it sort of built on me very quickly. That they are into because they have so much money to spend. They are firmly into the we can do it, so we should do it type thing. So there are scenes in season 4, like in season 3, which just don't need to exist. They're just clearly trying to use as much of the budget they have as possible, and that kind of betrays the very stripped and bare knuckle approach they took to 1 and 2. So it's still a bit excessive, but it's not as bad in that respect as season 3 was, because that really was just terrible. Is
Netflix dropping all the season at once, or is it weekly?
It's no, it's bingeable, but they are doing it in two halves. So the first half of this entire season is already out, and then they're releasing the second batch of episodes in a month or two's time. So you can binge. Given how long they are, though, you can binge.
I think Netflix need to sort their shit out with that and do it weekly.
No, I mean, well,
Water cooler moments, folks.
Maybe it's Stranger Things, though, and I don't know if they did this with Breaking Bad, but Stranger Things was the first really popular binge watch thing. They've every other season before now they've released every episode in one go, and that's what really made Netflix stand out as this new offering, because you couldn't really do that on any other service, and it does work. I think
they did do that with the first thing I ever binged when all this started was Daredevil, because on it was on Netflix. So they dropped the whole of Daredevil season 1 all together on Netflix, and I binged that. I remember that took me 2 days.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first things. I think that was before Stranger Things. I can't remember whether Stranger Things was before it.
It might have been.
Yeah.
But I think Netflix pioneered the binge thing. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what the series was, and people have become so used to that. I don't think this would necessarily work so well if you released it weekly. I've almost forgotten how to watch weekly shows. I keep forgetting they're on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it'll maybe just 2 episodes a week, not all of it. Anyway. So
I will be watching it though. Okay. I've been working too much, so but when I get time, I will be watching it. And because I liked season 1 and 2. I did not like season 3. I thought it lost it big time. But we'll see what season 4's got to offer.
This dropped.
Did he get shot in the eye? What's going on
there? We covered it last week. That's about it, really.
I don't watch this.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch it. If somebody says to me, "Look, Ian, it's not woke. It's got a little bit of woke, but it's really entertaining." Somebody says that to me, someone that I trust their opinion, then I will watch it. But as far as I'm concerned, I do not want to make the journey and then all the way down towards the ending. He's not the hero. He's pushed to the side. Blah blah blah. The usual MO that Disney.
It's kind of got the worst of both. It is a little bit woke, but that's not even the biggest problem with it. The rest of it's the biggest problem with it. You almost forget that that's part of it. It's just I wouldn't recommend watching this.
I was going to say to Ian, because obviously he's a trusted member of the team. Ian, it is not woke at all. The character development is excellent.
Right.
The characters are fantastic. It's all true to canon, and it's amazing. And you should avoid it with the plague.
Okay. Okay. It's, as I said, I was on a stream recently, and a lot of people they said to me, a lot of people complaining that he hasn't got a grey beard and a grey hair like Alec Guinness. That's the least of the problems. That's what I reckon of the show.
I've got a theory about this.
Yeah.
Everybody's moaning about that. How come he's gone out to rescue Princess Leia at the age of 10? I've got a theory.
What's that then?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is alternative timeline Star Wars, and they're retconning everything.
Who cares?
That is literally the only way they could make it fit, but I don't think, because that requires some kind of imagination, and I don't think they have enough of that. So I just don't think they give a fuck about canon.
I'll just say hello, Dermot.
Can we just cover that?
You just missed it, Dermot. There you go. We have seen it. Hello, Dermot. Okay, so I think we might be doing episode 3, Lord, if you fancy it.
I should be around. Yeah, and as long as, because there were things, I think we made it fun on your stream last time, and I tried to do the same with my video, because otherwise, it just gets depressing. And there were things that you could just take the piss out, because there were some things in this which were just so silly you had to laugh at them. And as long as we can keep finding those, then all right. But if it just becomes the point where everyone is depressed, then
ruin is the key.
But you know what, right? What I really want from this show, and any show that involves a major character from Star Wars, I want the character to be badass. I want him to go for a journey, and I want him to vanquish the bad guy at the ending and triumph. It's not much to ask, is it?
No,
Do you know what I mean?
it's not. It's not, mate.
No, I think that's the line I actually used in my video is that, Star Wars fans don't demand perfection. We just demand this basic level of competence.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that. It's not that Star Wars fans are impossible to please. It's just that this franchise is being uniquely badly served by its writers. It wouldn't take much to bring people back. It doesn't have to be a perfect series. Just basically like what you're writing, understand the characters you're writing, and don't fuck up the other films when you're writing it. And that's what they've been doing.
Hassan's not watched it. Well done, mate.
I don't know. I always go back to the spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. The first time they introduced the Clint Eastwood character, he rides into town in a donkey, right? And then he gets off the donkey, and there were these bad guys that were taking the mickey out of him, and he just teaches them a lesson, doesn't he? He goes, "Are you insulting my donkey?" And he teaches them a lesson.
He's
That's
got a camel
cool.
thing on this.
Yes, I'm saying that's cool. But with these shows, all you do is get them. They've been beaten down by something, all their heroes. They're depressed, right? They mumble a lot. They do a little bit of heroism, and then the female comes into it. And it focuses on the female, and they never get to vanquish the bad guy if the bad guy is a woman.
Disney,
So we get this all the time, and I'm just tired of it.
Disney, fuck off. Right, okay.
I think I did tell them to shove a lightsaber up their cock, so basically the same thing.
I haven't seen the latest episode, but the episode I saw last week was absolutely. Again, I recommend this show.
Today's episode was even better, mate.
You probably won't get any views, Lost Chord, for reviewing Barry, because obviously Barry is not as prevalent. Yeah, as prevalent as some of the shows. But again, I will tell you, and I don't want to tell you too much because if you do tell people too much, they just don't watch it. But if you ever get the chance to watch Barry season 1, give it a look.
It is on my list actually for next week, because I'm on holiday for the next 2 weeks. So I've got a couple of videos to get out of the way. But next week, I think I have time to watch some stuff. So it's near the top of my list for next week.
Okay.
I'll just say, everybody in the chat, guys, you should be watching Barry. We say this every week. It's fantastic.
It is. It's good. It's very good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
A hitman wants to become an actor. It's brilliant.
Something completely different in the third season, but hey, I won't give out any spoilers.
And it's got the Fonz in it, so what's not to love? Okay, so everybody check out Barry. You need to be watching it. Okay, so Strange New Worlds. Lord, did you see this week?
I have. This is, again, I mentioned earlier, I keep forgetting to watch shows when they come out weekly. I keep forgetting that this is a thing, so I haven't seen the most recent one yet. I've seen episode 3 was the last one I saw. I haven't seen 4 yet.
They were tackling the Gorn this week. Robert Meyer Burnett was having a bee in his bonnet, saying that the Gorn are not the enemy or anything. They're, Star Trek has antagonists, not enemies, and they're still going down the enemy route. It was.
I guess
I
they kind of
kind of
hamstrung in that
enjoyed
regard,
it, but it's still got the same slapping you around the face with Burnham bits, and it just.
You're endorsing it when you watch this show. You're endorsing it. You're saying it's part of Star Trek, and I refuse to do that. A lot of people don't understand that. If you watch this show, you're endorsing Discovery.
I guess the only saving grace in universe is that I think this is in the parallel timeline, isn't it? So the Discovery timeline, the Strange New World timeline is the Kelvin timeline with the film. So technically, you can argue it doesn't impact Next Generation, Voyager, the original series. But I take your point. I just have to watch it because obviously reviewing. But
absolutely. I understand that totally, but as I said, other people shouldn't be watching this if they're true Star Trek fans, but that's just my opinion.
Matt or is it Matt 1? Hello, Matt. This episode was okay. I'm still hesitant to like this show.
Yeah, that's been the thing all the way through, because I mean, if you do discard, obviously what it's building on, what it builds towards, and you just pretend that it's and the fact that Ansman's going, if you do treat it as an artistic thing in its own right, and you just look at what objective qualities it does or doesn't have. The first 2 episodes weren't bad. The third episode was a massive dud, but it was still, I think it was a dud. Obviously, it's for the rest of the episodes to prove whether the dud becomes the norm. But a lot of people I've spoke to say very much the same thing. It's not shit in the same ways as an artwork as, say, Discovery is or Picard is. It's clearly motivated by different things, and it's not repeating their mistakes. But people have been so stung by the others, and I think there's also, goes to what Maggie was saying, there are a number of people who think that, well, they almost don't want to like the show precisely because it might be seen to give credence to the other shows as well. So a number of people I've heard say, actually, yeah, I didn't mind, or I quite liked episode 1, episode 2, but I can't say that I like this show because I just know if I say that, then they'll go and fuck it up in the next episode, or they'll take that in the wrong way and they'll take it as an endorsement of what they've done before. It's testament to how royally the owners of the franchise now have completely screwed it up. You've got people who are dying for precisely this kind of content, who are not letting themselves like it rightly because they've seen all the other products. They know how they're going to be treated. It's a betrayal.
But the thing is though, they're going to be they're going to be introducing things that is going to spoil the idea of Star Trek. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there is a reason why there's a lot of girls on this cover. There is a reason why we've got, a not so good looking Uhura. Because I saw somebody sent me a still of Uhura, the girl is playing Uhura in this. I'm like, you're kidding.
She's not a bad actress.
It doesn't matter.
She's quite endearing, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's like she's one of the heroines and one of the one of the heroines of Star Trek. Come on, you couldn't find a better looking girl. No disrespect to the actress that's playing it. I'm sorry. What, you couldn't find someone that looked like Halle Berry, for God's sakes? Or even the girl that did it in the what is it, in the JJ version? She's gorgeous. Yeah. See, this is all statements. This is all stupid statements that they're making in the show. And quite frankly, I'm really tired of it. I'm not tired of talking about it, though.
No. In the chat, I think this is directed at me. Here we go. He is calling you out, Mr. Brown. You are endorsing it. You're calling me out, Ian.
Am I? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, by saying I shouldn't be watching it.
No, look.
You are endorsing it.
Let me make it totally clear, right? I'm only speaking for myself, and it's just my opinion. What people do has got nothing to do with me. That's all I'm saying.
You're looking forward to episode 1 of Doctor Who when it comes back, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bit hypocritical there.
Yeah. It's all double standards.
Double standards, mate.
It is. Everything's double standards.
I have to watch
it. So many people, again, so I made this point again in the Obi-Wan video, and the same thing applies with Strange New Worlds. Even people who don't believe that they're watching it and thereby endorsing the previous ones or the later ones, people are still having to go and sit there at the outset and say, I am going to consciously make an effort to forget all the stuff I don't like about what Paramount has done and CBS have done with Star Trek. Fans are now at the point where we have to sit down basically and make a list of things that we are going to choose to ignore or overlook or deliberately try not to care about before we go and watch the next show. And that's not the way TV is supposed to work. You're not supposed to ask. Writers should not be asking fans to be kind to them. It's the job of writers to please fans, not fans to behave in the way that the writers want them to. But we are in clown world, so that's how it works.
We are Melvin deeply. Hello, Melvin. Episode 4 of Strange New Turds was extremely average. Pike's hair is starting to annoy me. It's the only thing that was carrying the show, to be fair.
It's very coiffed, isn't it? Very.
This is the one. And Noonien Singh is too old to be an angry teenager. I can't fucking stand that character.
So that's what I'm saying. This is obviously peppered with
good-looking
diversity and all that crap that's in these TV shows, and they're obviously not focusing on the actual show itself. Actually, I can't say anything because I haven't seen any of the episodes. But to me, that's what they're doing really here. It's all about diversity at the end of the day. And I hate the guy that plays Spock. He looks nothing like Leonard Nimoy. He doesn't even perform the way Spock is.
Yeah, I've noticed he's got a funny accent, an American accent. And I don't
he's
know
just rubbish.
Yeah.
You see, all of this cast is wrong apart from the guy that plays Pike. I would fire all of them.
Hemmer's great, by the way.
I don't care. I'd fire all of them and replace them with people that looks like them or can perform better it's so annoying. This
You've got
could be a really great TV show.
It could. You got a fan, Matt I, or is it Matt One? I like Ian. He says things brutally honest, and I love it. That's not me,
Cheers,
by
Matt.
the
Yeah.
way.
Well, never mind.
I will say, Matt, if you want to come on, feel free, mate. Let us know if you want to come on. Okay, so episode 5 will be this week.
They're never going to fit. All of them are never going to fit into that ship, are they? That ship's way too small for them. The Enterprise.
Put it this way, I would hate to be on that bridge one day in the month.
Yeah.
There are fewer body positivity activists on there, though, so there is a bit more space on this ship than there is on the Discovery.
Okay.
So this dropped last week, the mid-season episode, and wow.
I need to watch it. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
Fucking hell, it did not disappoint.
Yeah.
It did not disappoint. It kind of reminded me of the last episode of season 3 of Banshee. One of the supplementary characters, something happened to them, and they didn't deserve it at all. And I cried at the end of season 3 of Banshee. Second time around I saw it, because it was just so good. And this episode, wow.
I love Bob Odenkirk. He's such a natural actor. When he performs, it doesn't look like he's performing at all. It's like he's just
good.
He's really good. He's a really good actor.
Time Profit in the chats. I have never seen Banshee. Guys, Banshee is incredible. Season 3 of Banshee is the finest season of TV I've ever seen.
Ooh.
My computer's playing up. Here we go. Matt I, or is it Matt 1? Banshee is fantastic. I love that show. Season 3, amazing. It is just a roller coaster of a ride. So, Better Call Saul is on mid-season break. So I don't know when it's coming back. I'm assuming probably September, maybe later in the year.
It's terrible. There's a Better Call Saul is on mid-season break, and the Depp Heard trial is out for deliberation, so there's no legal drama going on anymore.
Because it's Memorial Day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here you go. See, whatever's, it's whatever floats your boat, isn't it? Melvin deeply. Trust me. Heed my word. Listen close, Uncle Melvin. Banshee is utter caca. Trust me.
What's caca?
Banshee.
No, what does caca mean?
What does it mean?
Shit. Caca.
Oh, okay.
Cac.
Oh, right.
If I remember rightly, I think Melvin has only seen a few episodes and he turned off. And I know why, because I was the same. But if you stick with it, it's fucking great. It is fucking great.
Melvin.
Anyway, Melvin, you should watch it, mate. Take one for the team. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Okay, so let's move on. Top Gun
Maverick. Yep.
Who's seen Top Gun? I have.
Not yet.
Oh, you let that side down.
You're not taking your mum to go see Top Gun yet? Then,
No,
Mark?
she went yesterday, and I am more committed to my YouTube channel than I am to the cinema, so I had to stay back to do the Obi-Wan video instead. So I'm gonna have to
be
go.
committed to your mother.
Oh, I'll see you later.
Do you know what, Loss? Oh, the Lord.
Lord.
I went with my mum.
Did she like it?
She loved it. She thought it was because, like I said, I said to her, let's go and see this film. And she's like, what it's about? She hasn't seen the first one. I said, oh, it's got Tom Cruise in it. She goes, I don't like him. And he goes, oh, well, you're not doing anything. You might as well come with me. So we went to IMAX. First of all,
Oh,
She was
look at
amazed how
you.
big the screen was.
Mhm.
Second of all, she just sat there and she loved every moment of it. Every moment she loved it. She loved the bit at the ending, the thing that the mission that they had to do, not giving away anything, obviously. Yeah. So she loved all that stuff. She thought it was great.
Yeah,
Personally,
so
yeah.
I was almost obliged not to like the first one just because my mum
I
loved it
don't
so
like
much.
the first one.
It was really sort of
It's
cringe and cheesy. But I've heard so many really good things about this, and everyone is so positive about it. It's even starting to rub off on me, and I've not seen it. It's like I have warm feelings toward this film, despite not
But
having seen it. So I'm going to have to go and see it just because everyone says it's amazing.
well,
but
you
the
are
one
going
the
to
one
see
thing
it.
I can tell you, and I'm being honest, it is not amazing. This
Oh, okay.
film is very entertaining, and the
Mhm.
reason why this is my theory, people are saying it's amazing because that we've been starved of this stuff for the last 4 years. This is very much an 80s movie,
5 years, probably.
or 5 years. This is
6
very
seasons.
much an 80s movie, and it's very much, and Tom Cruise is very much the hero in this film. And the characters are very much interesting characters. Most of the characters, I should say, I'm lying here. Most of the characters
They're
are
all
very,
great.
very interesting. But because I saw the first one, I didn't like the first one. It does pay homage to the first one very well, but it doesn't. The homage doesn't infiltrate this one as much as, say, some of the Star Wars movies. It just makes reference to them. And the
It's
bit
done
where
well, isn't it?
yeah, and the bit where he meets Val Kilmer is
Oh,
very moving. I thought was
God,
very
I was
moving
tearing
personally.
up with that.
Yeah, personally.
I got
So
fighting tears.
yeah, so I recommend it. And it is watchable, and also I think it has this thing that I would gladly see it again.
Hmm.
I would do so, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I probably will go and see it again with a couple of friends. The best way to watch it, in my opinion, is IMAX,
Yeah.
Get the
and
best
everything's done for
seat you
real.
can.
Yeah, everything's done for real in this.
Well, I
There's
gather
no
as well,
CGI, yeah.
it's sort of deliberately decided it's not got any time for any of the modern things which sort of dominate films these days. So
Yep.
it's unashamedly a callback. It's unashamedly 80s, and also so that's one massive thing. The other one is relatively subtle. They've put the Taiwanese flag back on his jacket, which basically means they've said, "Fuck China. We're just going to do what we want to do." Because apparently
Yep.
they sent
Excellent.
the film and to China. The flag removed as the Chinese censors asked, and the Chinese censors said it's still too pro-American, so you're going to have to change it more. And the studio just said, we're never going to win, so why should we bother? Let's make a film that Americans want to see and that people in the West want to see. And it
Yep.
seems to have worked, and that's positive, very positive, because that suggests that studios are learning some lessons. Don't go in for the woke crap. Don't go uber modern and social justice, and don't try and pander to the Chinese Communist Party. And you might then create a film which is unashamedly positive, aspirational, encouraging, and optimistic overall, and that people actually flock to see. And even I'm going to probably go and see this film, and I never would have said that about a Top Gun film before. So yeah, I guess they might be learning some lessons.
So I listened to the after I'd seen this film, I listened to the Drinkers review, and the drinker was like gushing all over it. And
He was.
the way he went over, the way he described this film, it was like it was one of the best films ever made, and it isn't, right? And let me tell you something: it isn't. It's very enjoyable, and that's what all films should be today: enjoyable. It's like if you're starved for 4 days and somebody gives you a Ritz biscuit.
Best rice
You must think
cracker I've
it's
had in
the
a long
best,
time, mate.
yeah. And that's the thing with Top Gun Maverick, because you've been starved of this kind of movie for so long. When you go to see it, you're like, thank God that they've made something like this, and so I can appreciate it. None of the females are overbearing in this at all, which is another thing. So
Melvin Deeply,
Mm.
I haven't seen it, but here's what happens.
Mm.
Tom Cruise is better than everyone and smarter than everyone, then he saves everyone. All except he tells someone what to do and then they save everyone.
yeah,
I think you're going to be
that's what heroes
disappointed,
do.
Melvin, because that doesn't happen.
But the thing is, though, what he's describing is what every film
No,
with a
he's wrong.
hero has. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to uplift you. They're supposed to kick ass. They're supposed to, dare I say, be manly if they're a man. you know, and teach everyone a lesson, more or less, because that's what action films do. And if you don't get that, then you come out dissatisfied with the film. You can get it in a clever way, though. That's the thing. I mean, there are plenty of action movies like there are plenty of action movies out there that that does it in a very clever way. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, you could look at the Avengers as a really good example of the way in which heroic characters are balanced with, you know, their traits and their flaws as well. You have, you know, Tony Stark is smarter than everyone, but he's flawed in equivalent ways. And then the heroic, I mean, there is a thing in classical writing and theories of writing. It is the heroic arc, the heroic journey. And it's not coincidental that you find this in all the best works of art, from Homer up until Marvel. I mean, like, all of human history has heroes. It has heroes going on the heroic journey. It involves, you know, these are supposed to be admirable characters. It's not the case that every person, to be realistic, has to be so deeply flawed that no one can possibly look up to them. They are supposed to be examples. This is why it's a nonsense when you see in video games and films and they try to have people look like the population that goes to watch them. All these campaigns against particularly very attractive women, but to a lesser extent, you know, overly muscled men. The point of these is they're supposed to be idols. They are supposed to be people you look to as an example, not people who replicate all the flaws you encounter in your personal life, people who show you a way to overcome them. So you get some people who look at that kind of journey and that kind of character and they think, oh, well, that's just too simple. That's not clever enough for me. That's not what stories are supposed to be about. No, actually, that you're completely wrong. That is exactly what aspirational stories are supposed to do. You have to have great people to serve as your example. You can use them as an example to improve yourself. And you shouldn't just want The Last Jedi style Luke Skywalker in the name of moral complexity.
yeah, look, you mentioned the Avengers, right? Look at the arc that Tony Stark takes, right? He's arrogant in the beginning. Yes, and then there's that line that Captain America says to him, "You're not the man that will fall on a hand grenade," right? And then he's basically taking the thing into his own hands when he attacks Thor, and he's still arrogant. But at the ending, he sacrifices himself. He tries to save the world. So he takes that journey from being arrogant to understanding what Cap was saying, and then suddenly doing what's right towards the ending, doesn't he? So he has an arc. The same thing Captain America. Captain America has an arc. He's a man out of time. You know, he does all these things. You know, he questions the world as it is today, and then he comes to terms with it towards the ending, doesn't he? You know, as I'm saying, all of them have a journey, and Scarlet Witch has a journey as well. Her, as they say, instead of saying she's a murderer, they say her ledger is red. Do you know what I mean? She's coming to terms with that as well. Do you know what I mean? So
that's the point. Yeah, absolutely.
That is the hero's journey.
If I may, either way, what you think of Tom Cruise? People like him, some people don't. You know, this is a damn good film.
It is. It is very good.
It is very. I think the chat has been saying, "Oh, I'm not watching this." Blah blah blah. It genuinely is a good film. Just forget Tom Cruise for the moment. It's a good story. You engage with it. I was tearing up most of it. Lots of practical effects. Can you believe it? Proper aircraft.
Yeah, what is it? $11,000 for an hour to hire those jets.
Yeah, all practical effects.
Crazy.
Enhanced with some CGI, but you can't even tell it's seamless.
If you have a problem with Tom Cruise, that's fine. Don't go and watch the film. But the film is very much the hero's journey, and he's the hero. So what can I say?
You should, I think, you should separate actors from performances as well. So, like, I think Tom Cruise is insane. I think Mel Gibson is an anti-Semite, and I don't like him as a person. He's undoubtedly an incredibly good actor in his best roles, anyway, not in all of them by any means, but he has immense talent. Same with Tom Cruise. There is this sort of aesthetic autonomism thing where you shouldn't necessarily judge a work of art by the character of the person who makes it. I don't like Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise is objectively good in a lot of the stuff he does, and he's very impressive. I mean, I didn't realize before this he did all his own flying, or at least most of it.
God,
he still does most of his own stunts
all
at the age of 60 something. That's objectively impressive, and you can't hold his Scientology against him for that.
He's really good. As I said, the best thing about this film is it's watchable. You can watch this again and still enjoy it. It has that thing where, you know, after you finish seeing it, if somebody asks you the question, would you watch it again? I believe
Yeah, I
your
wanna
answer
go
would
see
be
it.
yes. I'll watch that film again.
Plus, there was the trailer for Mission Impossible 7. And that
Yeah,
looks
it didn't
really
look
good.
very good. It looks all right. Yeah, look, I don't know because they're split into two, haven't they? So
Yes, it's a
this
two-part, and
one
then that's
is a
it. I think that's
two-part, and I'm
the
not.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
believe I'm. I don't know. There's something. I don't know. I don't know how to describe. There's something about that I'm thinking.
It's
You
got
know.
Haley Atwell, so anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
There we
so
go. News round.
it's news round, folks.
Yay!
Yay!
You need your sound effects of some children cheering really miserably.
You could play the theme to news round, but you'll get a copyright strike.
Probably.
You probably like
Play
10
it
seconds of it
backwards.
maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is my favourite part of the show. Lord Chord's news round. So let's see what's up first.
What nonsense have we got on this week?
It's all nonsense. You know that. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good nonsense, isn't it?
Good
Yeah,
opening.
Yep. I included the tweet that he put out just before, which says, if I can read, because my eyes are shot, 36 years after the first film, Maverick, Top Gun is finally here. We made this for the big screen. Yeah, because the studios wanted to put it out on streaming because of the coup, because it's been delayed, and he refused. And we made it for you. Get this right. Get this for thinking. And we made it for you, the fans.
What a shocking idea.
I
that
hope
is.
you enjoy the ride this weekend. Disney, are you looking? We made it for you, the fans.
Made it
So
for the fans. How
what do you
quaint.
what do you think to that statement, Ian? Is that
I
very
think
forward thinking?
I think that's what they should all be doing. It should be for the fans, you know. That's the thing, and I think Hollywood is up their own arse now, and as Jim Carrey said, they're not part of the cool club anymore. So there you go.
No.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, there is this weird double idea in Hollywood. Either they have to try and appeal to everyone, and by doing that, they must deliberately not try to appeal to fans because fans are too, nerdy and niche, and they care too much about it. You have to go for normies, or they try to they try to tailor it for this really minute part of their audience, which agrees with all of their wacky political ideas, the woke set. And neither of these two approaches works. Like, they objectively fail every time. It's the classic get woke, go broke thing. This weird idea that you can either appeal to everyone or you can appeal to fans is just utter nonsense. I mean, do you think when Empire Strikes Back came out, they thought, well, we're going to have to try deliberately not to appeal to fans of the original Star Wars because it has to be for everyone? No, they appealed to the fans, and by appealing to the fans, they created a great work of art that everybody liked. So appeal to fans, and you tend to find you create a good work of art that everyone else enjoys as well. Do that more.
Time Profit, I know you're very, very cynical, but go watch it. You'll enjoy it, mate. Moving on.
It's all right. I mean, people have got their own
Yeah.
way of looking at life. If he doesn't want to go into it, it's fine. It's no skin off our nose.
Time Profit keeps cracking the. Is he sitting on a cushion or is he standing on a box? He was cracking that gag on Friday night. I did notice. Time Profit, you're a very naughty boy. Okay, so it's going to make a ton of money, this, isn't it?
Seems to.
Yeah.
I think it could make $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does make that. But as I said, Tom Cruise is many things, but he knows his beans when he makes movies. He really does. He knows what to do to make the film attractive to normies and people who appreciate good movies. So I take my hat off for him there. He's obviously mad.
He is a professional.
But yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, proper professional. But anyway, okay. So Ray Liotta died last week.
That's a shame.
I think he was 67. I may be wrong.
Still young, man.
It was a
Still
genuine
young.
shocker.
Mm.
You
He,
said,
he died in his sleep, didn't he?
yeah, you said he was filming. I can't believe that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I read. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I misread it, but apparently he was filming. He went to sleep and didn't get up. So there you go. Died in his sleep.
Mm.
It's crazy. Crazy. But
67's no age.
he's an underrated actor in my opinion. I mean, the films that I've seen him in, I've enjoyed his performance from
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas to Fields of Dreams to, even the Carlsberg advert on TV. He's a really good actor. It's a shame he's gone. He went too soon, in my opinion.
Time Prophet. Ray Liotta definitely had the jab babble.
I'm wondering if that's a clever attempt to escape the YouTube algorithm, and he's referring to a thing which we're not allowed to say causes people to die young.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And here we go.
Or we could just say what it is.
Yeah, the vaccine. My channel's been struck off. So, rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Definitely went too soon.
He did. And who can ever forget that the most famous piece of dialogue from Goodfellas that was uttered from him?
Which is?
All my life I wanted to be a gangster. One of the very first lines of the movie, isn't it? And he shuts the trunk and the music kicks in. I'm assuming you guys have seen Goodfellas, right?
Shamefully, I am honestly not sure that I have. I've seen The Godfather.
What?
All of them.
Okay,
I've never seen Goodfellas.
So I like The Godfather, but I can honestly, truly say, hand on heart, that Goodfellas is much better. I thought Goodfellas was the best gangster film ever made, in my opinion.
Really?
But that's just me. Yeah, I think it's much better than The Godfather.
I like Casino.
Did you? Oh, I like Casino as well.
I think Casino's great.
Yeah, Sharon Stone was brilliant in Casino. But yeah, I think Goodfellas is probably the best gangster film ever made. It's incredible as far as I'm concerned. Well directed, well performed, right across the board.
There you go.
Scarface. Scarface is a cartoon. I always look at it as a cartoon. Really,
it's very
fun.
kind of gritty.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I thought it was fun, even though it's really violent. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Time Prophet. I have seen Casino. I love Casino. It's a long film, but it's like 4 hours of pure joy. I love it.
I think Goodfellas is just over 3. I think 3 hours.
Either way, Joe Pesci just steals for both.
He does.
It's Joe Pesci.
Yeah, he's a little guy, but he's scary in that film.
In Casino, is it Little Nicky? Fucking, he's brilliant.
Mm.
The
thing I noticed
Irishman in the Vice.
I don't know if you guys seen Casino. Or have you seen Casino?
I've seen Casino Royale.
Okay, I'll stop
Lord,
there.
Have you not seen Casino?
Oh, sorry, have I not seen it? No, I don't think I have. No.
Oh man, you need to add it to the homework list. Casino is fantastic. Very underrated.
It's a good film. I still think Goodfellas is the best gangster film ever made.
Well, I like Casino but better, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Okay, there's a load of this, so we'll just kind of fly through this. All the promotion vehicle for Star Wars, Battersea Power Station. Turn them into lightsabers. The towers.
Battersea Power Station's got their own tube station now. It's a new tube station that's
Was it?
specially made for that place. Yeah, it's called the Battersea Power Station Tube Station.
Yeah, I
Would
think
you
it was a
believe?
condition. It was a condition of whoever bought it. It was almost going to be one of the most strikingly impressive football stadiums in the country because Chelsea wanted to buy it and have it as their stadium, keeping the chimneys. And
Yeah.
one of the conditions of ownership was that they have to build a tube station and fund it. I think the new owners had to do the same thing. I guess it's kind of there must be a way in which this works. So like useless old lump of bricks that used to be something now lights up in honor of useless old lump of shit that used to be something.
It's a listed building, so they can't knock it down. They have to keep the chimneys and
it's a striking building. I like the building. I'm all for keeping it. Should be put to good use. But I'm trying to think of a way of linking it to how terrible Star Wars is, and I'm drawing blanks. But there must be a way
Probably
of doing
the best
it.
thing about Star Wars, Obi.
Well, when I was a kid, during the beginning 80s, I remember all the adults that I knew called it the dead elephant. They'd say, "I'll meet you near the dead elephant." That's what they used to call it because obviously it's a dead elephant when the leg sticking up looks like a dead elephant, and that's what I used to call it. Basically, it's weird.
Quickly going back to Casino, Time Profit. I don't really like gangster movies that much. Only watched Casino because I thought it was a gambling movie. Technically, it is. But
I saw that from my window. I was wondering what it was. I saw the light. I was thinking, what are they doing now?
Oh, you saw the light.
Yeah, because Battersea Power Station is not far from where I live. So I looked out my window and I saw the lights, and I didn't make the connection between that and Star Wars. So now I know.
Was in Battersea today. It's being massively gentrified near the park and power station.
Let me tell you something. You don't know the half of it, mate. I went into a store to buy a ice lolly a couple of weeks ago, and it was ridiculous how much it cost. So everything is crazy.
Did you walk straight out?
No, I brought it. I was thirsty and I wanted something cold, so I brought it. I was like, I said to the woman, "You're kidding." And she said, "No."
Battersea Power Station actually features briefly in the book I wrote because it's set in sort of this post-nuclear war London.
Nice.
And the wreckage of it has been taken over by a bunch of thugs called the Chelsea Headhunters. And they sort of dominate their local area with that as or what remains of it as their headquarters. So I did a little bit of research into Battersea Power Station for that purpose. It's one of the great things about writing books is all the random things you end up reading about.
But a lot of people don't know that before they put their stuff inside Battersea Power Station, a lot of films were shot there. So they had the premiere for Batman and Robin there.
Aliens,
for some reason. They also did the shot of Batman, Chris Nolan's version, when he doesn't save his girlfriend and he's just standing there and you have all that wreckage. That's Battersea Power Station. And Batman, Tim Burton's film, they shot in Battersea Power Station. Aliens shot in Battersea Power Station. So a lot of films have been shot there. Now you can't because they've all fixed the inside and it looks I don't know what's happened to the inside actually. But yeah, a lot of films.
I think they've turned it into luxury flats because that was the two rival bids, Chelsea Football Club and luxury flats. So you can tell it's being gentrified because they decided they'd favour the bid of luxury flats over a local football club. So I say local football club, it's Chelsea, so they're not exactly poor, but nevertheless.
Okay, so quickly mention this. Disney were preempting the fans by calling them racists.
This is also included in my video on it.
We kind of decided they did that because they know this girl can't act.
Also, she's objectionable as a character. She has no redeeming features. The performance is terrible. The characterization is awful. Of course, she's supposed to be unlikable because she's a villain, but there's no complexity to her villain. It's just pure aggression. I've seen idiots on Twitter simping for Disney Star Wars, saying she's probably the best villain the best villain Star Wars has had ever. She's what Anakin would have become had he not become Darth Vader. It's like, no, there's darkness and complexity and torment and torture behind Anakin Skywalker, and this girl is just aggressive. That's it. That's her whole thing.
Nobody spotted that Reva. By the way, it was me who spotted this, so I'm taking credit.
Yes. Claim credit while you can.
Reva is an anagram of Evar. Bestest
Yeah.
ever.
Why would you wear black in Tatooine? Isn't it meant to be really hot?
Yeah, it is. And like again, I think I made this point on the stream and in my video, which is that they do not make design work and set design, sorry, character design and set design work together. They don't portray that. All they'd have to do is have them turn up at night, and they immediately look like they belong in the setting, and they look more sinister. But they turn up in these silly Power Ranger armors in broad daylight, and they look like they're made of plastic, and it just looks terrible. But no, as a character, she's horrible. So it's no wonder they were pre-prepping her with response to criticism.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
just sucks.
Oh,
I hope she dies on the program, but we know.
No, she's going to be the hero in the
I
end.
know, and that's
She's
what's
going to
gonna-
die a hero if she
She
does
will
die.
indeed. Oh, she has
Like,
to die because she's not in the later
awful.
ones, but she will save Luke Skywalker according to the
Fucking
leaks. So.
awful.
Like what is it? Doctor Strange. He didn't even dispatch the villainess in his own film.
Yeeted herself.
I
Yeah.
think Melvin's spot on. We didn't notice this. She's classy. She doesn't sweat.
Well, that's what you get if you film in a studio.
Well done, Melvin. That's a good comment. That's comment of the night.
Oh, you won't be able to see the sweat under her armpits because she's wearing black. So there you go.
She doesn't sweat though, because she's classy. Moving on.
Mhm.
And speaking of classy, this was more important to.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
Who's
She
this
was
then?
more. The
This is
girl who
her.
plays it. She was more bothered
Oh.
about braids in her hair
Hmm.
and braids a representation.
Yeah, I read the interview, obviously, as part of the preparation for the video I did, and it's just facile. Apparently, the original character design had a hairstyle, and her hair didn't do it naturally. So rather than do what most people do and just change their hair, she decided that she was going to honor the history of her people. We were like people born in whatever American state they're in, as opposed to Africa, and wear braids because that's an incredibly important cultural symbol, as most Africans
Is
wouldn't tell you.
the picture
If you
on the
take
left-
this back 20 years, if she had said that, they would have said, right, you're fired. Wouldn't they?
Yeah,
They
We've
would.
got somebody else.
I know why she got the job, because she's got the braids looking like Mickey Mouse on the left.
I
So,
can see that. Yes.
so look, right, this is ridiculous. I would have fired her on the spot. I would have said, right, see you
So-
later. Ta-da.
She probably got her first acting role in one of the biggest franchises ever.
Based on her colour?
Well, ignoring that for the moment. And she's... Personally, I'd be like, wow, Star Wars, wow. But she's more bothered about her fucking hair.
Maybe she didn't know what Star Wars was.
I don't know. She clearly didn't, because if you read the interview she did on the subject of diversity, she says, you know, if you've got droids and aliens but no people of color in your franchise, in your fantasy world, then that's wrong. It's like, have you never seen Star Wars before? It's like, okay, so Lando, Mace Windu, Saw Gerrera, Seer, Triller, Finn. There's several others as well, which I'm now slipping my mind. I will take the argument that there have not been enough black people in Star Wars. I'll take that as an argument. That's sustainable. You can quibble with it, but at least it's a valid argument. But to do what she did, which was to say, or to imply, she's basically the first person of color ever in Star Wars, and she actually says it's 2022, you know, like it's current year, guys. So it's time we start doing diversity in Star Wars. Get fucked. You've clearly never watched it. There is diversity in Star Wars, and it's some of the best loved characters.
Darth
So the
Vader,
idea,
James Earl Jones.
the voice of Darth Vader. The idea
time.
that Star Wars fans have a problem with diversity is utter bullshit, given that some of the best loved characters are black. And one of the biggest problems people had with the sequel trilogy was the way they wasted Finn's character. And Finn is also black. No one has a problem with black people in Star Wars. They just don't think the point of a character should be that they have black skin. They should be good fucking characters. So
Finn
it's
could have been
triply
a great
insulting.
character.
He could have been a
Well,
great
you know,
character.
The best character in Star Wars is black, isn't it? From the original films. That's Darth Vader.
Oh, Darth Vader,
there you go.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the blackest mother
Fucker
so and so in the
God.
universe, isn't he? So there you go.
I
So what's she
just-
complaining about?
I just think-
Lando comes in late and is loved.
Yeah.
Mace
loves
Windu
robots.
is basically a meme machine. Like there's so many great black actors in great roles in Star Wars. It's triply insulting to say, A, there's no diversity in Star Wars. That's not true. B, that Star Wars fans have a problem with diversity. That's not true. And C, to say both of these things, therefore revealing that you've never even watched the thing that you're now starring in. Think of the number of people, including black actors, who would give everything to be in this role and who've grown up with Star Wars and love the damn stuff. And then you get this moron coming out and just being.
But if you said that to her, Lord, if you said that to her, she'd be like, la, 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 I don't want to hear you. That's what she'd be.
Well, Disney's done it for it. Like, Disney have put up the Gungan shield from episode 1, and it's just the word racism. And so now every shot you take is just, no, it recalls back on you. You're a racist. That's the only reason you're criticizing her.
Lord, when you buy your vintage Reaver figure, will you be going to get signed then?
Yes. What have they done to her legs?
You're so two-faced.
What have they done to her legs? She's got weird legs.
Yeah.
Powerlifting legs.
It's body positivity, don't you know? It's the real life proportions of
God's sake.
people. I don't know. It's just nonsense.
I put my order in for that, by the way.
Good luck with that.
Oh yeah. 875 quid, worth every penny. Vintage as well. You pay an extra 400 quid just for the vintage.
Did I tell you? We was talking once on a stream, and they were talking. It was bonfire night, and my friend told me that they had to chuck things on the fire in the garden, and so he told his kids to go and get something to chuck on the fire, and they brought because he brought them the Jody. Jody doll. They took the Jody doll, chucked it in a fire.
Where it belongs.
There you go.
I'll just say to the chat, anybody buying one of those? I've placed my order. I've placed an order for 2 because I know they're going to be hot collector's items.
Can you not zoom into her head to see if she's got the braids, or is it just like she's got an Elvis hairstyle? She's got it looks like she's got an Elvis hairstyle, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a Mark Commode hairstyle.
I think it's like no one will buy them because no one will like the character, and then they'll use the fact that no one bought them as evidence that the fans are racist and they just don't buy black toys. It's like, go away, stop it.
Time Prophet and Mr. Brown, only if I can burn it.
What, like the Ku Klux Klan, you racist?
He's from Wolverhampton, so yeah, he's spot on. Okay, crazy. So as I said, I've ordered 2, 850 quid each. You pay an extra £400 for the vintage logo, worth every penny. Okay, so kind of going back to the awful events that happened in Texas last week. This is what it's got to. People were just having a go at Disney for not...
no trigger warnings.
Yeah, effectively... no trigger warning because of the was it the Jedi school?
It's the opening scene, the first scene you see, which isn't just flashbacks to the prequels, in which Anakin murders children. The first scene you get is the clones. It's Order 66. The clones turn up. There's a Jedi training some kids, and they have to escape. But now it says Star Wars fans are calling this out for lack of trigger warnings. No, they're not. These are just people who've effectively carpet-bagged their way onto Star Wars. It's Disney Star Wars fans. About 5 of them have basically said, that looks like a school shooting, ergo I am triggered. And that's bad. And no, you didn't have a problem with Anakin murdering children. You shouldn't have a problem with this.
Well, I think I may be controversial here. I think they're more bothered by being triggered about a program than actually the real events in America.
Yeah, well,
because it just keeps happening all the time.
It's a form of signaling.
I don't understand it.
It's a form of signaling their own politics, so that they think that school shootings can be used to demonstrate their own virtue. Basically,
who's that? Who's the Florida senator who's been having a go at?
Well, the governor is Ron DeSantis, who's
I
usually
think there was. Did you see the Sky clip of? I think it was a British Sky reporter having a go at him.
Oh no, he was having a go at Ted Cruz of Texas.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, roughly the same idea. Why does this only happen in America? Aren't guns the problem? Why aren't you doing anything about this? Yeah, and then you had people on Twitter saying, finally, a journalist is calling out a politician. So, no, that's not really what he's doing. He's just asking questions based on a position of rank ignorance.
Two AR-15s, an 18-year-old with two
Why won't you have more
AR-15s.
gun regulations? Well, okay, but California has strict gun regulations and twice the number of mass shootings as Florida. So, no.
I don't think it'll ever end. They'll just keep having them and having
It's
them.
no, it's mimetic now. You can't do it. It's a cultural phenomenon. It's unique to America. You can't regulate your way out of cultural mimetic behavior. It's just not something that you can do. You can minimize the impact, but trigger warnings on scenes in Obi-Wan are not the way to do that.
Yeah. Time Prophet in the chat. Born in London, and I am half English, half Welsh. Well, we've all got our crosses to bear, Time Prophet. Moving on. So, Data Racer, who does fantastic work collecting the scourge of Twitter and the comments from the scourge, just posted a few things going back to the traumatic first episode.
It doesn't actually work either. Who are the people who turn up and start shooting at the kids? The clone troopers. They're government agents. The government is turning up and shooting at children.
Yeah.
It doesn't even work as an analogy. Stop it.
This is a good reason why I'm not watching it.
I don't think. Did I tell you about my Scottish grandfather too? No, we didn't. Time Prophet. Moving on.
This is why you need to come on the channel so you can give us your life history.
Okay, so let's. There we go. Ian, your favourite director?
YTTTT. Yeah, what an idiot. Don't like him at all.
KK confirms next Star Wars film will be shit. But it'll be funny.
Well, the thing is, he's well
different.
within their remit, isn't he? So, if I got a feeling that it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to be disappointed with the Thor film, because it looks really bad, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
So, and he directed it. So, plus he made himself a star in it as well by playing the big rock monster, didn't he?
Korg.
Yeah. So.
The problem is that I quite like some of his humor in the right setting. So in the right film, it works well. So if you take something like one of his earlier works, like The Wilder People, it works in that setting. The problem is he only has that style of humor, though. So if you have Waititi doing a Marvel film, and you have him doing a Star Wars film, and you have him doing an indie film, every one of those films will be exactly the same in its style and its humor. But Star Wars is not The Wilder People, and it is not Marvel. So if he just injects his usual style of humor into Star Wars, all he'll succeed in doing is turn Star Wars into everything else we've seen on the screen, which is not the point of it. The right director and the right humor for the right role is important. You can't just say, let's bring more of Taika Waititi and it will fix everything. No, it won't. It just makes everything homogenous.
No, they hide him because he's in line with the stupid crap that they're putting in films now. It's obvious that he's in line with it. It's got nothing to do with anything. Also, he's not a white dude. I'm quite surprised that they hired Sam Raimi for Doctor Strange. He's a white dude. So I'm quite surprised. Maybe that's a mistake they made. But it's obvious why this guy's being hired.
And you can tell he's a male feminist as well, because he goes around sleeping with as many women as he can get. And that's basically the ultimate goal of being a male feminist.
What's the name, isn't he?
Who? Who's he boffing?
The co-star of Thor. What's the girl called? I can't remember.
Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, they're in a kind of a three-way relationship. Yeah.
He's boinking her.
As well as being with somebody else. Yeah.
Well, someone has to.
And why Star Wars got all cracks in the title? What's going on there?
That's why. Matt I, or is it Matt 1? Yeah, didn't Waititi say he was going to ruin our childhood fandoms? Yeah, he did with Marvel.
Well, he's too late, isn't he? Because it's already
too
been
late.
ruined.
Yeah, Star Wars is ruined already, yes.
Yeah, you're too late, mate.
Remember that Waititi's real name is David Cohen before he changed it. Not joking, look it up. Yeah, we know, mate. Here we know.
Whatever his name is.
Anyway,
Seriously.
moving on. So much Star Wars shite last week. They're just
see,
saturating everything.
Actors want to work.
They do.
That's why they, no matter how bad Star Wars is, no matter how bad the crap that Disney comes up, they will sell their souls to just get work. And these actors, especially this one here, sold his soul to be in Skeleton Crew because he needs to work.
A tweet from our man Dan Hadley. Did you notice that, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, they're just saturating everything. And
Yeah, I had someone on the comments on our Obi-Wan video saying, Star Wars isn't dead. Look at how much content they're putting out. And he actually used the word content as well. It's like, yeah, you like your content, don't you? Just consume. Quality is irrelevant. It's all about quantity. That's what you really want.
What's the point of casting him in Jude Law in the film when everybody knows there's going to be a female that'll upstage him? What's the point?
Matt Ives, Matt 1. Who the fuck cares about this Skeleton Crew? It looks boring.
I don't know anything about it. Is there a plot summary or a premise for it that's been released?
Time Prophet says he looks like a skeleton. Jacob, they prostitute themselves. Pays the bills though.
He does.
I still say that Ewan McGregor and Aidan Christensen are devastated under the surface, but that's just me.
You say that, but isn't Ewan McGregor got producing credits on the Kenobi show? So
I'll say it's Aidan I feel sorry for.
Yeah,
he has, and also I'm really surprised of Jude Law, not because he's in Skeleton Crew, but I'm really surprised how he hasn't gone bald yet. He's last time I saw him in the film, his hairline was really high.
Inquisitor role, couldn't he, if he was bald?
And then all of a sudden, he's got hair. So
the magic things money can do.
Anyway, moving on. I think we're approaching the end now, folks.
Indiana, let it go. Yep, that's Indiana for you. It doesn't look like Indiana Jones at all. Looks like somebody on stage playing Bono playing a guitar. That's what it looks like, doesn't it? If you look closely, Bono had a hat like that.
Do you like the design? Looking like a 4? Bit of clever design.
Do you know what? It's not being directed by Spielberg. It's directed by Mangle.
Directed by you.
No,
you do.
I would never attempt to direct an Indiana Jones movie if I was paid. Yeah, sure, but no, I would never attempt to do an Indiana. I think it's you're setting a bad precedent. I personally, if I was in charge, I would never have hired Harrison Ford to play Indiana Jones. He's way too old. I would try and reboot it with somebody new.
Well, they're going to retcon him out of existence, aren't they?
So they say. We don't know if that's true though.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
The idea that nobody can play Indiana Jones other than Harrison Ford is ludicrous. That's what I said about Sean Connery and James Bond.
Yeah.
So I would replace him.
Remember what Kathleen Kennedy said. The reason Solo failed is because you just can't recast old actors. So
of course you can.
Of course you can. She's an absolute moron. But that seems to be the guiding lesson that they've taken.
Geek what? Exclamation mark, question mark. The Skeleton Crew. It follows a group of kids about 10 years old. Oh, what a surprise. Who get lost in the Star Wars universe. They are trying to find their way home. No official plot summary yet.
Sounds like Voyager.
Star Wars Voyager.
With kids. That's what it sounds like.
It's the logical end point of it's a movie about space wizards intended for children. Well, let's just cast children in the roles then and have some space wizards around. It might work.
Let's hope we've got some representation, though.
I'm just hoping they don't kill off Indiana Jones. Because I just don't want that.
Well, it's going to be... It's timey-wimey shit, and they're going to put him out of existence, aren't they?
You see
You could do it quite well if you had an old Indiana Jones and the part was written with his age in mind, so he's not expected to run around. And sort of his guiding philosophy and his motive is basically he is out of place in a modern world, and it's his values that triumph in the end. So you could still do an optimistic story. You have to write it with his age in mind. And the ideal is you have him as a grumpy old man who looks around at the modern habits of museums and the fact that rather than taking artifacts to preserve them, the guiding methodology is to give artifacts back to whichever backwater country they've been allegedly taken from. He doesn't like that very much, and you can make a nice piece of social commentary with an old grumpy Indiana Jones, but they inevitably won't do that.
Here you go.
They can't do that because Indiana Jones is about action.
Yeah.
So it's about a like a male, solid hero, that's two-fisted, that doesn't take any nonsense, beats up the bad guys with his fists.
Hand-fisted.
Action. Yeah. And they won't do that. The only way to do this, and I'll say this again for the cheap seats, as I always say, the only way to do this is to recast. Anything else is a waste of time.
Do you want to read Time Prophet's comment? Can you see what it says?
You can recast old actors. The problem is that the young actors can no longer act. But that's not true. There are some good actors out there.
There are
good young actors. Get someone that's unknown to play Indiana Jones. That's what I say.
I mean, is Kathleen Kennedy involved in this one, given that it's still...
Yes,
yeah, it is. I mean, but that was her
song.
line. Her line was, the lesson we should learn is you can't recast old actors. So it's not we
No.
who are saying that. That's the reason they won't recast him. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't say so. So there we are.
She's fucking clueless.
You just recast Indiana Jones, right? You can still set it in World War II, whatever, and carry on the adventures. I'm pretty sure he had more adventures than just 3.
Yeah.
In World War II.
Well, they tried the young Indiana Jones stuff for a while, didn't they?
That didn't work. I hate when they do that, though.
With Phoenix.
There's 2 things I hate that what they do to heroes. One is that they either go back in time and make him young. 2 is the other one where he's old and they actually get someone that's younger than him to do all the fighting for him.
There's 3 actually. Ian, have you thought of the third option?
What's that?
They kill the hero. Like James Bond.
That's new, isn't it? That's
like
new,
James
isn't it?
Bond.
Yeah. I just hope they don't kill Indiana Jones because that would be a crime in itself. But as I said, Harrison Ford does not deserve to be in this movie at all. He's too old.
Or is it Matt 1? I love Carrie Fisher, but she doesn't own that character.
No, she doesn't. Yeah. Of course she doesn't.
And then same again for Matt. KK is a moron.
Mm-hmm.
But logic, they shouldn't have cast even Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Nope.
It's because she's fucking clueless and she knows she fucked up, but she's trying to, use her words to get out of it. But everybody knows she fucked up.
I mean, how old is Harrison Ford now anyway? 70-something? Is he 8? No.
Yeah,
so when he made this film, how old was he?
He's not made it yet.
No, when he was making this film.
Because
they finished
now.
production now.
79, isn't he?
Yeah.
So 79, he's 80 years old, right? How are they going to make that credible? How are they going to make him, even if he can run around at that age, how is that credible?
Well, I thought it was the stuntman, and they were going to put his image on.
Yeah,
the
but
stuntman's
still,
body.
he's that age. Do you know what I mean? I'm in my 50s and I still have problems. My knee gives away sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just it's not possible. Just recast it for God's sakes.
Okay, let's move on.
Love that. Thought it was great. Watched it.
First of all, Time Prophet Ricky Gervais liked one of my Twitter posts a couple of days ago. Fuck yeah.
Have you seen it? Anyone?
I've just seen the clip.
Oh, you're not seeing the show. It's good.
No.
It's really good. It's really good. He does take the mickey out of everything. But it's all done in jest, but also he makes a point in his and that best comedians do that. They make a point, even though even if the joke is so ludicrous, it does make a point if you listen to him very carefully. So, and I really enjoyed it. I thought he was very funny, and I thought it worked. Very short though compared to the other comedians that have exclusives on Netflix, like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle one's longer. but his one was an hour and something, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very short.
Guy's totally uncancelable, isn't he?
Hmm?
He's uncancelable, unless if he's done something very, very bad in his past.
There was a lot of articles saying how bad it was and Crash, and he should be taken off, and the show
Oh
should
yeah,
be taken off.
the
and all
Rotten
that.
Tomatoes score. It's one of those really good examples again of this divide between critics and audience, because the critic score is like 14% or something. It's really low, and the audience score is high 80s. It's because I think even Elon Musk commented on this, said that it's a phenomenon, this divide between audience and critic. Critics aren't really critics of art anymore. What they are
They're
is
shilling, aren't they? For
effectively,
the
though they're shilling all their
paymasters.
political commissars. They don't actually fault Ricky Gervais for his ability as a comedian. They fault him for his political messaging, and they don't like that. The audience wants to be made to laugh, so they will score him more highly.
He gets Time Profits vote. It was really funny.
It was funny. I thought it was funny. I think it's worth your time if you've got nothing else better to do, and you're sitting there wondering. Watch that; it'll make you smile. It really will. Especially the stuff he talks about transitional people. It's very funny. So yeah.
I think I might need to. So Mega Geek recommends it, folks.
Oh yes, yeah. It's up to you guys. I mean, the humor is very crass, but I thought it was worth my time.
We like it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are against that now.
Speaking of crass and double standards, the trailer dropped last week, didn't it, for Love and Blunder?
I think Chris Hemsworth said that he didn't want to do this scene, and then effectively he was made to, which is another aspect of the double standards. Given that he's starring alongside someone like Natalie Portman, who would say that if a female actor was compelled to do the same thing against her wishes, that would be effectively the worst form of sexism in art. But it's fine to make a male character do it. Objectification works one way, but not the other.
Have a laugh at his expense as well. Let's not forget.
But you get the impression that he's totally against the woke stuff, old Chris Hemsworth, because if you see the interviews that he had when we had Brie Larson was with him, Brie Larson, and
they hated each other, didn't they?
Yeah. Who's the who's the black guy?
It was Don
Ruffalo. Don Cheadle. Yeah. You can tell that.
Yeah,
because Chris is from Australia, and Australia men have a different way of seeing women. I'll just leave it at that, shall I? So there you go.
Matt, or is it Matt one? Stop sexualizing men. He's not here to be easy on the eyes for you.
It's a Frost reference there.
It's just a big double fucking standard. And it makes me sick.
I was recently. I was walking down the road and I was looking at my phone, and I looked up, and this woman was walking towards me. And she walked past me, just a glance. She turned around and said, "What are you looking at?" And I just ignored her. And I thought to myself, "This is what it's come to now. You can't even look at a woman. What the hell is this world turning into? It's crazy." I just ignored her. I thought, what a stupid cat. I wasn't even looking at her, looking past her. And she started shouting, and I just ignored her. Seriously, really? Shouting.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
How old was she?
She was quite young.
Oh, there you go.
I would say she was in her 20s. Yeah.
Angry, yes.
She's a good-looking woman.
There you go.
Good-looking woman, had a little summer dress on.
Oh, so you had a good gulp.
It was only a brief look, for God's sakes, but I do remember
but you've
the
got
dress.
The director's eye, so you can see things instantly. So
seriously, it was just a glance.
Man.
It was a glance as I was going past. I was looking on my phone. I don't normally look at my phone when I'm walking, but I had to read a message.
Double standards there, folks. Okay, so time profits.
That was it.
Australia, where men are men and
women are men. Yeah.
Yeah. Or is that New Zealand? Yeah.
Where women glow and men thunder.
Yeah. I just think all this is a big fucking double standard. If this had been the other way around, there'd have been a massive stink. massive stink. We wouldn't have heard the last of it.
I'm pretty sure that Lord went, ooh, oh my. When he saw the trailer. Oh my.
Not my type is old Mr.
Oh,
Thor.
okay.
sadly.
I will say, as an athlete and training regime, Chris Hemsworth, you got to doff your cap to the bloke to get in that shape, because that is real.
That's what somebody should do CGI and put Sulu in that crowd and make him say, oh my. That would be quite funny.
Yeah.
He does look ripped though, we got to admit.
Yeah,
Bloody
it's
hell,
all,
he
it's
must
all
have
real
been
as well.
in the
Just
He works
Yeah.
very hard. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I think, will this be the last time we see him as Thor?
I hope so. Because they've just made a joke out of Thor.
He knows, doesn't he?
I didn't like the last Thor film. I thought some of it was funny, but all the stuff with Thor turning him into a complete idiot, it just didn't work for me personally. Anyway,
I think, is that out next month?
so all the girls faint, don't they, when that happens to him in the clip, in the trailer, or were they
do.
fainting for something else?
No,
I don't know.
Probably saw the size of his walnut whip and they passed out.
Who remembers walnut whips? Oh my god! Do they still sell them? Walnut whips?
Yeah.
Oh really? Wow!
I think you can buy them. Have they got the walnut on? I can't remember. It's been that long since I've bought one. I used to like them.
Did you?
Yeah, walnut whips are alright. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's it. Let's have a look. It's
Dun, dun, dun.
smallest possible font. This slide is sponsored by Time Profit, by the way. Please consider donating to the channel. Links in the description, pin message, blah blah blah, all that usual shit. I know the boys and girls in the chat have subscribed, but if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. I think that's it. We may be coming back. Is it Friday, Lord, with the Obi-Wan?
Again, I'm bad with weekly shows. I have no idea when the next episode's on. I thought it was a Wednesday, actually.
It
but,
drops
I could be wrong.
Friday, that.
Oh, Friday. Fair enough.
Yeah, so I think we may be back for that on Friday. Famous last words, though. So I will just say to the chat, you're wonderful guys. Apologies for not doing this yesterday. I think I caught something going around at the cinema on Friday. I thought it was the coof, but I don't think it was, but I felt a bit foggy in the brain department over the weekend. So apologies for that. So chat, you're wonderful. I will thank the guests. Lord Chord.
Thank you as ever.
Please check out Lord Chord's upcoming channel. He needs the subs.
Well, we do.
He does. Well, you do. Thank you, Lord. And last but by no means least, the wonderful mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
No worries, guys. No worries. I won't be here on Friday because I don't watch drivel. So there you go.
You don't know what you're missing.
I think I do. That's why I don't want to get. Oh, by the way, did anybody find that? Did Johnny Depp win his case?
The jury is deliberating at the moment. I think the verdict is
Day off
expected
today.
on Monday or Tuesday, I believe. The verdict's expected.
Oh well, okay. Right.
Oh,
I hope he
Monday
does
today,
win.
isn't it? Possibly tomorrow, it's expected.
I hope he does win. Personally.
Yeah.
I just remembered Superman and Lois is back this week. So, yes. I think
Get
there's
in.
2 episodes left of that. So, Superman and Lois. So, I think that's it. We'll take our leave. Probably see you Friday, peeps. Take care. Adios.
Adios.